Look at Me conjures up the idea that every face calls out and speaks something to every onlooker. The exhibition opened at Museo Cantonale d'Arte in Lugano in October 2009. There are 4 sections: In the Vase, Self-Portrait, The Negated Gaze, and In Time. The visitor is stimulated to reflect deeply on what a face and looking at a face mean, as suggested by a host of established and young contemporary artists. Faces are important in establishing human identity and are also favorite subjects for artists of all times. The exhibition Look at Me investigates how and why artists from the late 60s have refocused on faces and how people look at faces. Tracing the sequence of exhibitions offered in recent years at the Cantonale Museum of Art, Look at Me represents a further step in understanding how modern art has evolved over the past 50 years. The exhibition displays masterpieces by established artists such as Andy Warhol, Alex Katz, or Thomas Ruff, as well as young and vibrant artists. Visitors can use the exhibition for a deeper understanding of the recent evolution of contemporary art, or they can just relax and be carried away by their emotions. The exhibition is not a portrait gallery. It is a challenge to understand all the different meanings that a face can convey when it is represented by an artist. The section In the Face investigates the emotional relationship between a face and the person that is looking at it. Is the visitor looking at the face, or is the face looking at the visitor? Alex Katz from the USA, who started his artistic career in the 50s, has a rigorous and formal style, clearly influenced by photography. Andy Warhol, who is also an American, was the first to understand how faces in contemporary society can take up iconic status. The young artist Till Freiwald, who was born in Peru and active in France and Germany, showed a larger-than-life work to present how deep and complex the psychology conveyed by a face can be. A self-portrait is a complex operation where the 3 actors of art, the artist, the work, and the onlooker, are combined, with the artist and his work becoming one thing. Contrary to popular belief that self-portraits were only popular in classical times, artists can't avoid representing themselves even in contemporary art. Thomas Schutte, a German artist, shows himself not directly but reflected in a mirror for 7 days of a week. Thomas Ruff, a well-known German photographer, shows himself almost disguised in the middle of 12 pictures of fellow Academy students. The Italian Giuseppe Pennoni shows himself wearing mirror contact lenses, bouncing back the act of looking to the observer. The American photographer Chuck Close frames this picture as a cold scientific representation of specimen. Contemporary artists do not avoid representing faces, but at the same time they often put some kind of barrier or an obstacle between the observer and the face. Gerhard Richter represents the famous British artists Gilbert and George by superimposing different pictures that are almost out of focus and deliberately difficult to read. Another British artist, Richard Hamilton, creates portraits of famous people by using collages mixed with cosmetics. The Italian Daniela De Lorenzo shows herself in a subtly and surprisingly altered self-portrait. Different concepts of time have different implications on the artistic representation of faces. Time in the strict chronological sense, the abstract time of art, the collective time of history. Roman Opałka, the Polish artist that provided the image signature of the exhibition, shows himself in a sequence of daily pictures taken from 1965. The French Christian Boltanski shows Red Cross images of children lost during the Shoah, intermixed with images of the same people as adults. The Italian artist Giulio Paolini explores time within the history of art, putting Greek plaster casts face to face with each other. Look at Me is an exhibition for all kinds of visitors, regardless of their knowledge of contemporary art. Those who are not familiar with contemporary art can find emotional and rational suggestions for getting acquainted with some of the most relevant contemporary artists and some of the most exciting young ones. Other visitors can find a new perspective on the evolution of art in the last 50 years, tied with a theme centered around the face.